so too pumped. Let's talk about these gets. The Kill
Yeah.
Team Wreckers. So you gave me some news. Go ahead and give our boys, some lads, some news here.
Yeah. All right. This is breaking news. I literally saw this right before we went live. This is brand new information to the WAAAGH. The Wrecka Boyz sprue. I have seen them in totality. They absolutely, positively, 100% are the same build style and attachment areas as the Commandos and Snagga Boys, also the Squig Boys. That means that they're not totally modular like the old boys, but they are not monopose. The arm sockets, you are going to have some arm sockets that are similar between the builds, not just in that mob, but also with the other sprues. And the head pieces attach the same way. So just like you could put commando heads on Snagga Boys and vice versa with no modeling experience, you're going to be able to do the same thing with the Wrecka Boys. So that means we are building a new style of boy that is interchangeable amongst all of these different model kits, which is extremely advantageous to us orc players. Now, here's the really cool thing. That sprue, it's got 5 regular bodies on it. They are the new boy slash Snagga Boy size body. So a little bit bigger than your old school boys, 32 millimeter bases, really nicely done. All 5 of them have the option to be built as a Tankbusta, which means your rocket launcher or your, they got the tank hammer and the rocket pistols. But yeah, rocket launchers. There were 3 to 4 rocket launchers in there. And all 5 of them can be built as Wreckas. Wreckas all have the close combat weapons. That means if you're a cunning mech and you got yourself 5 extra bodies, you can slap those arms on, and that one box is going to give you a squad of tank busters and a squad of Wrecka Krews. Now, the knob, I want to talk about the knob a little bit though. He's big. He's big like the monopose knobs. Now, the monopose knobs are so big, they are war boss size. He is even on a 40 millimeter base like the current war boss. That dude has some heft. He has some chunk. He is thick. He also has multiple build options. So you're going to be able to do a lot with this kit. I am super excited about this kit.
You just got me excited about this kid, dude. Dang, that was an excellent job. That's why you got to check out Red One Goes Faster for those kind of tactics, boys. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So
save yourself some teeth and give yourself some options. Get this box, get another box of boys. That way you can put the arms on there. And next thing you know, you are going to have both options to play with when you go to start playing your next game. I would recommend getting the Commandos kit to go with this. Again, the arm sockets, they are the same arm socket styles on them. So if you have a spare squad of commandos, those 5 bodies, you can make, the Wrecka Krew out of them. It also gives you a different rocket launcher. So when you're doing your Tankbusta squad, if you wanted to take all rocket launches instead of having the tank hammer, you'd have that out of the commando kit.
sweet. Okay, that's actually an awesome tip. I'm really pumped about that. Thanks a lot for that. Look at that. You guys heard it here first. So check out Red Wunz Go Fasta for all things hobby related because we love to see that. And that's why we're really happy you came. So thank you for joining us today for this evening. Shout out to our sponsors, the Baron of Dice, as they helped us do our Waaaghtaktiks dice. So shout them out. Check them out in description, 5% off in the discount because nobody likes taxes. And shout out to Baron of Dice. They allow us to do our paint competition. So thank you very much to them. Now, as for rules for the Wreckas, now they could actually become very important for orcs because we are suffering when it comes to dealing with very durable vehicles and monsters because reduction of damage exists, because feel no pains exist, because a bunch of different debuffs to shooting exist. For these guys to really come over the top with their shooting potential to offset all these defensive buffs that exist in the meta would make them borderline broken unless it was synergistic with the new detachment, or for some reason they had the mech or kill ability from Dread Mob and you can stack those shooting, but you're not gonna be able to do that. That doesn't make any sense.
I
Um,
I, th- I think you're gonna see similar to the Squig Boys and the Beast Snaggas that have the anti-monster
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
anti-vehicle. I think you're going to see a similar type ability out of these guys, where instead of being over the top or having all of these different buffs on them, they kind of make it this flat, easy. Okay, 4 up to wound when you're going up against the vehicles. That's going to give us the ability to get in there and put some wounds down on things, and then I think you're going to see more damage output out of them. So every hit that actually lands and wounds, we're actually going to be able to do more than 1 or 2 damage. And I think that's where you're going to get the usefulness out of these. Now, they did not drop the 40k rules for these yet, just kill
Mhm.
team. I guarantee you it's going to be 2 different data sheets. Wrecka Krew is going to be a completely separate entry than Tankbustas. They're a completely different squad. So you're actually going to be able to take 3 Tankbustas and 3 Wrecka Krews.
Yes, absolutely. As for when discussing what they would need for anti, but that leads me to, can it synergize with the new detachment? Because our issue right now is lack of AP and the damage potential, right? So if you simply made them 4 plus, but you kept them at AP -2 in melee, that might help a bit. But there's still a lot of vehicles that have 2 up saves and then have armor of contempt, for example. And if it's shooting, there's cover everywhere. So it could overlap with either of the 2 detachments we talked about rules earlier, with those damage 3 rockets, because they're rockets. So rockets will probably retain the damage 3. So that offsets our crappy 2. But if we talked about those buffs we had earlier for either Bad Moons or even a Blood Axe type of synergy, these guys could end up getting pushed over the top, and that's what I meant by that. If you gave them a crossfire so they could be AP -3 or ignoring cover, then these guys could actually be cool in shooting, and they retain, like you said, maybe anti-vehicle 3 plus, because orcs don't shoot that well, and then maybe they still got +1 to hit against vehicles and monsters, for example, right? And then for their record potential, devastating crews would be fantastic, like a beast boss. So it's not just beast boss have them, but that could be a little borderline broken. So maybe only one guy does a small version of that, maybe like 2 attacks, 3 attacks, where it's anti-vehicle 4 plus, and then the other guys do other versions of -2 damage 3 in melee as well. Those would all be really cool ways to kind of, like you said, have these guys, but they do their job, but realize that this job is very critical to us, yet hard to attain with just replicating our basic data sheets and rules like we've been doing. We do need something to push us to AP -3, like Josh Hardaw here saying bring back the Meganauts, but that's a topic for when we talk about data slates. Yes, we're still going to talk about data slates, so bear with us. But we're not, so these guys would need AP -3 or something to offset what we suck at, which is killing high toughness things, killing stuff that can reduce damage a lot. In just in general, any kind of vehicle and monster. So
Yeah, and I think we have the potential for it because there's new weapons in that box.
yep.
As you see, the guy down there in the middle and the bottom, he's got those new, like kind of smash a fist things going on. You got the different style of tank hammer in the back, and then in the front, you've got your old school tank hammer that actually has the rocket on it. That's going to be a mortal wound maker right there.
Mhm.
So there's definitely potential to get much different looking data sheets and abilities than we have traditionally had, just because they're all new. They're literally new.
Yep, that's what I was hoping for. A little bit of what we had. Remember, running in there and taking out Trajan Valorous with your hammer. That could be a minor baby version of the Beast Boss without having to tap into a Beast Boss. And then you still get the other melee potential from that unit. And then another different unit shoots fully. And what I really like is that the boss, which I think is cool, he has a rocket pistol and a hammer, a melee hammer. Now, is that detrimental to the shooting unit? Right? I don't want a mixed loadout where,
He's got
well,
options
you
on the
know,
sprue. He's got options.
okay, exactly. All right. I don't necessarily want him to be like a spanner where he's completely out of range because he has a 12-inch pistol and everybody else can shoot but him. Maybe that's not as good unless it's melee sick. But this is why I want hammers to have a different profile than claws and power claws. If you're gonna make them a new sculpt, and GW is getting a little accurate with the sculpts here and what they want to represent, let this, hammer have additional AP. Look at the back of it. It has a pointy part, right? You could be AP there. And then just maybe less strength than a kill saw. That could be cool. So I don't know. I'd be excited for orcs to get those kind of things. And still love that they have the squigs, right? Still have the squigs. So I think that's pretty sick. Uh Do you have anything left to say on the records? Because I think next we'll just talk a little bit about the data slate, and then we'll talk about maybe some models we want to see, and then the last topic we have.
Yeah, let's get into some models.
Let's get to well, before we talk about data slate real quick first. We won't spend too much time here, but we do have to at least talk about, to keep in mind that with this Groutmas, list of detachments that are coming out, people are getting, they're, what is it called? Willies in a twist, we'll say. But keep in mind the data slate's coming out. So there's a chance GW will, contest some of these really potent, somewhat toxic borderline rules. Yeah, it could really change the meta as a whole if it addresses certain things that even maybe the orcs want to see, or some of our predators will have, or people that we predate on. So is there anything you want to see from data slate to start off? I'll let you get first on that if you have anything you care about.
Yeah, this is where you're way more in tune with it than I am, as far as the little things that they can adjust and tweak. The big overarching thing that I want to say on Data Slate is that, remember that none of these data sheets are hitting the app and going to be official until January. So they're all going to be out and published first.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to go live to actually use, like, competitively. So GW is going to have a chance to fix all of them and balance everything. So I wouldn't get too worked up about any of them being over the top or maybe even not good enough. They're going to have a chance to even it all out.
If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!